Okay, so first of all, why I'm here and who I am. So I am Pamir Gogoi, and I am from Assam. I am actually from Tinsukia, which is a small town in the very northern region of Assam, and I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about my trajectory and how I reach where I am right now. So, but first of all, I just, I'm just here to talk to you like a friend. And I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm not an academic genius. In fact, I've been a very average student all my life and been very happy about it. And I'm also not a, businessman in the making. And yeah, just probably slightly older than some of you. And just, he wanted to share my story here. So let's just for a little bit of a change, let's have a small icebreaker round. And I want some of you to, maybe introduce yourself and have a little, like, you can also put it in the chat or something, like what what's your background, and what kind of interest do you have. Anyone wants to share something? Oh, we have around 20 people, I think. You can even
Yeah,
type.
it's
Uh,
20.
yeah, yeah.
If anyone, just please say anything. You can
And
just turn on your mic.
if you're still not warmed up enough, don't worry about this.
I just put it in the chats in the
Yeah,
text message as well. That
yep.
also works.
Just hi, hello.
Yeah.
Which stream are you in? Um, what's your because I don't know which branch of engineering you guys are in and what kind of things you'll be interested to know. So, and I'm making this a more of an interactive session. So yeah, if and while I'm talking, if you want to just drop in messages in the chat, just feel free to. um okay.
I think we should go ahead and people would
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like warm up
I'm
as they
trying to,
go.
but I'm using Google Meet after a long time, and I'm just having some trouble switching between tabs while I exit from there. So okay, I'm just gonna. Okay. So, yes, so my trajectory is little funny, and so I can tell you one thing, that before I got into any of the academic part, I was a complete tennis fanatic, and I thought that I will be a tennis player for the rest of my life, and I was playing professionally, and I thought that's what I was going to stick to. So this is the first thing you will know about me, that nothing goes as planned. And I have been just doing what I felt interested in at that point of time, and I just went ahead with it. So 2006 was I was in class 8, I think, and I started I had started playing tennis, like lawn tennis, before that. And 2006, class 8, I started playing tournaments, and slowly started playing the state level tournaments, and then climbed up the ladder and went to the national level. And then I was actually playing international tennis by 2012. I mean, by 2010 and 12. But that's where till then I really thought that this was my life, that it's going to be tennis all my life. And because of this, because I wanted to play tennis, and at that time Sania Mirza was doing like really well, and everyone was talking about how amazing Hyderabad is for coaching, and all these tennis clubs and things. So I joined BA in English, And like every child at that age, we went through this, so should I take arts or science or what, like all that thing in that decision making phase. So I decided to stick to English, and I thought I'm going to focus on tennis mostly. So I joined Hyderabad. I joined a college in Hyderabad. It's called English and Foreign Languages University. And I was still more of a tennis player in my first 2 years of BA. And then eventually I figured out that this is probably not where my mind is, and things were not working out that great because I had left home and I was staying in a new city alone. And you need, once you are in the higher level in the sports ladder, you really need a good support system also. You can't like handle it's you can, but it was getting difficult at that time. So meanwhile, when I was doing my BA, it was in English, but we had a couple of different branches that you can take. So it was not just literature, or poetry or world literature, things like that. You can also choose like cultural studies subjects, and you can choose like education related subjects. You can like, and obviously we had some linguistics courses. So I think I liked linguistics more than the other tracks. So I stick to linguistics. And during the master's program, I decided that, okay, I think I'm going to major in linguistics in the master's. And till then, I'm telling you that I was not, even then I didn't think that I'll be a linguist for the rest of my life. I still don't know that. So yeah, but I decided to do a master's in linguistics. But a few things I kept doing within that phase, like during the master's phases, I would apply for internships in the phonetics phonology lab in IIT Guwahati, and I did work in their lab for a few summers during my master's and also after master's. And I started really liking the research kind of view that people have. And, when you know that you can like ask a question and try to find the answer yourself, it's a different kind of feeling. And, you might not be that kind of a person. You might be someone who is more like, of a make a product and engineering kind of a mindset, but you can also be sometimes more of a research oriented mindset, and it's absolutely like it's totally on you, and to understand what kind of where you are more comfortable. So I really felt that I was really enjoying the research kind of work in IIT Guwahati's lab. So I started applying for PhD programs. And thankfully, I got into the linguistics program, the PhD linguistics program in University of Florida, and that's where I joined University of Florida in 2016. But end of 2016, and they call it the fall semester, and I graduated in 2001. So I'm not going to go into a lot of details here, but yeah, so some things that so basically the PhD in linguistics, it's you are funded through your teaching. So you're usually a teaching assistant or a research assistant. You will notice that in the engineering side, or in the more technical subjects, you usually have research assistantship. So you'll be paid, your funding will come from your research work, like when you join a project, or the university funds you for the work. And in a more humanities kind of subjects, you will see that teaching assistantship is slightly more, you will find more of a teaching assistantship kind of fellowships. So yeah, and linguistics courses also, they were all very teaching heavy. So I joined, so I got a teaching assistantship, and that's when I was teaching linguistic courses in university. And it was the undergraduate students that I was mostly teaching. And this was a great experience, because before that I was myself a student in India, and suddenly you get 1 year to explore your new university outside your country, and then suddenly you're a teacher there, and you're teaching the students who come from different cultures. And I'm going to talk about some of the differences that I found very, I really appreciated the differences also, but they were more striking. So I'm going to talk about that in a while. Yeah, so this is my favorite part. So in 2020, so my research was not typically in Northeast Indian context. I was working on voice quality, and I was working on Indian languages, but it wasn't Northeast India. But still, when you're doing a PhD program, you're not restricted to just the topic you're working on for your thesis. There are like a million things that you can do, and everyone will be supportive if you're lucky. Yeah, but so that's how I was really interested to look at the scenario in Northeast India. And every time I think of a project, every time I finally find a team who wants to do the same thing, the problem you have is, oh, we don't have data for this language. Oh, we don't have enough speakers who can give us data. We don't have enough background work done. So this was a major problem that I was facing whenever I tried to do something in for the languages in Northeast India. So what I did was, and somehow, luckily, I found another guy who contacted me because he had recently gotten a project to on Assamese language, and he reached out to me saying that, hey, what do I do now, because this is the problem I have. Like I got the funds for making he was working on an automatic translation system, and his task was to translate legal documents and government documents correctly from Assamese to English. And he was having the same problem. There is no data. Like, what do you train your machines on? What do you train your algorithm on? And because of this, we started a project called, we named it Vani. And what Project Vani does is, we just so this was the plan. Like, this is still the plan, that we don't aim for huge projects. We just try to tackle small problems. Like, okay, if you have, like, let's say there is this language which has like last 2000 speakers left in Northeast India, you just go there, maybe try to collect some data and just reach out to people and say that, okay, if someone wants to work on this language, please like contact us. We can help you to get started with that. So this is a small pilot study corpus that we can give you. So, and so things like that. So that's how we started Vani. And yeah, and we're still working on that. So we have done some work, and I'm going to share about that too. So yes, this is where I am right now. And this is just a screenshot of the homepage that we have for our project. So this project is aimed at documentation, digitization, and development of technology tools for the low resource languages in Northeast India. So this is just like, a brief introduction to what our project is. So just gonna jump into something that I think helped me figure out my, figure out what I wanted to do. Because I'm not saying that, I'm doing something great and you should do the same thing, or, that you have to, you can follow the track I have been following. I'm absolutely not saying that. But I can tell you that, once I started working on Vani, and started my new project, that I could see that this is where I'm contributing to. It was a different kind of mental satisfaction. And some of the things that helped me do that was, one major thing was networking. And Yeah, initially, it was difficult to figure out like what I wanted to do, and what things you have out there, and how the rest of the students work, and what's exactly the scenario. Trust me, now it's easier, because everything is moving to kind of a virtual setting, and you're more connected, like this talk, right? Like, I'm reaching out to you and telling you, like, sharing my story here. But when I was in my undergrad days, these online catch-up calls and video conferences and these things were not that often. Not that common. So they didn't. Once in a while you'd see something like this. The conferences were a major thing, where you would connect to people, find people with similar interests, and then plan things together. You just network, and it's still very, very helpful. Once the COVID situation is slightly better, you can all reach out to people through conferences and hackathons, and you have so many things out there. Yeah, so another thing I would suggest, or just really be supportive of, is just start a project. If you think that, oh, this is something we need, or and oh, we don't have this yet, or why is no one, like, why do we not have enough information on this topic, just start working on it, and don't think of what you get in return. It's really fun when you can totally discard that thought and just say, oh, this does not exist, let's do this. That's an approach that I have always been a big fan of. Yep. And reach out to people, talk to people, email professors, and there are sometimes you'll be surprised how well these big names that you hear all the time, some of your, maybe some people in your own domain, and you maybe follow a book of theirs or something. If you just find their email address and email them that, hey, I was really confused about this, like, what do you think, could you help me figure this out? They are extremely, extremely good with responding to, most people are very good with responding to student questions, no matter where you are from, and uh, what you want from there. And I want to share my story actually here, because I am extremely reluctant to, at least I used to be, to reach out to people. I feel like, why would someone take out their time to answer this stupid question that I have, like, why? But once I started working on my thesis, my advisor, who is Dr. Ratri Wayland, and she's actually from Thailand, but she has been in the US like most of her life. So she kept pushing me that, oh, you can just email him and ask, like, why doesn't he have this part in the paper? Why doesn't he, what did he mean by this? And you can just email and reach out. And while I was writing my thesis, I was struggling with one problem. which is I wanted to create some stimuli for a perception study, for a perception experiment. And there was a lot of things that I were trying that which I was not able to figure out at that time, because they had to be very specific with some parameters and things like that. And I was following a research paper where someone had used the same kind of stimuli. And this was Professor Takayuki Arai that you see in my screen. And he's a Japanese professor who primarily works on vocal fold modeling. So that's where, I work on acoustics of speech, and it's mostly signal processing. So this is like slightly related to my area. And I'm a big fan of this professor because he does some amazing work. He has an amazing lab. And I just emailed him saying like, I wanted to follow the procedure that you're following for the perception study, but I'm not able to I'm not able to generate the stimuli for the experiment. Could you please tell me how to proceed with that? And he literally generated all he told me that, this paper, I had written it like 10 years ago. I don't know where I have the stimuli or the code, but I understand what you're looking for, and it's just gonna take me like a couple of codes to run, and I'm gonna generate it and send it to you. And he actually generated the set of stimuli for me and sent it to me without expecting anything in return. And he just told me that if you ever want to work on something related to this, reach out to me and send me a proposal, if you have any related work, and we can collaborate and work together. I was so happy because it was not just about him replying to me. It was this whole window that suddenly became much brighter, because now I know that people are so good in responding to you. Like, I'm not saying you will have this experience all the time. Sometimes you also don't get responses, but it's not like, it won't always be the case. There's no harm trying to reach out to people. Sometimes you'll be really surprised with how well some really big names that you see, and you think that they probably don't have any time in their life, they actually are very, very helpful. Yes, another thing is, I really I have seen that interdisciplinary work has recently gained a lot of it's been a big thing now, interdisciplinary work. And technology and anything you can pair with technology, you can create wonderful things. So if you are creative, if there are things you can solve with an interdisciplinary approach, you should totally think about it, and go for those projects. Yes. I feel like I'm talking really fast, but
No, that's okay. We actually have a couple of messages in the
oh,
chat
really?
box. Yeah, we have
Can
three
you,
messages.
can you read them out if you don't mind?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
If I
The first one,
exaggerate.
no, I can see you're really excited. So it's like anyone, like all the other people who are here, please feel free to like send messages and just introduce yourself.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
say
yeah.
hi.
Just
The basic hi works too.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, the
Um,
first one is from Shayanka Kaushik.
uh-huh.
Hi, I am from mechanical engineering. I wanted to talk but can't since I am in the middle of the road.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
Shayanka. It's great, right? He's joining from like
I know,
he's going
yeah.
somewhere from the car. I guess he's joining.
I so appreciate that.
Oh, yeah. From the second one we have is from Priyanuj Handik. Hello,
Mhm.
Ba. Priyanuj here. I am in third semester electrical engineering, currently posted as the content writer of GDSC AEC. Looking forward to your session and excited to learn about the sneak peeks of your career and accomplishments.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah. Now the third one is from Samar Jyoti Bhagawati.
Mhm.
Good evening, Ba. My name is Samar Jyoti from Industrial and Production Engineering, hoping to learn a lot from you.
Thank you. And it's really nice to hear from you guys too. And yeah, I'm just talking in a very general sense. I'll probably not be able to like give any very useful information for your specific domains, but it's, I think it will be a nice, after.
Very interdisciplinary, right?
Yeah, yeah. And, we can have a chat after this and
Yeah,
just.
yeah. It's very cool and casual. It just feels like we are talking on the phone, right? We just
Yeah,
talk like this.
that's how I wanted it to be. Wanted it to be, and yep,
Yeah.
let's see. um, okay, so yeah, there is something that I recently got very mind blown about, and I wanted to share. So yep, so while I started working with. Wait, did I talk about my Microsoft joining experience? Probably not. Okay, so yeah,
That's going to catch all ears.
yes,
Please go
so
ahead.
yeah, I somehow skipped this part. Okay, so what happened is when I started working for Vani, there is this community here, Idumishmi language speakers. So they are primarily based in Northeast, Arunachal Pradesh here, and so we got in touch with one of their community members, and they had expressed um, how they are struggling because they don't have a dictionary, they don't have any written document in their language. In fact, they don't even have a standardized script. So there were a ton of language related problems, and somehow we got in touch with a person from there, one of our Vani team members, and we said that, okay, tell us how we can help. And they said that they can get funds from, they do have funds because the government also provides funds for cultural development, right? But they don't have people to help them. So imagine how sad that situation is. So we said that, okay, with whatever bare minimum expertise we have, let's just do this. So one of our team members, he went to that place. He's from Karnataka. He flew all the way to Arunachal, and he said, okay, tell me your problems. And so what we decided together is, their first demand was they wanted a dictionary of they already had a dictionary, but it was in a physical form, and just there is one PDF available online, and people there don't even have, like, where not everyone has a laptop to use a big PDF comfortably and everything. So they wanted a very user friendly app. So we made a dictionary app, and which also added speech, the clips of audio clips of those words. So we made a dictionary like that. Then yeah, so some of these, the related work that we had done, we were presenting it at a friend's his office conference. And there we had some people from Microsoft Research India, and they reached out to us, and they said that, hey, like, it looks like your interest in low resource languages, it aligns with some of our work that we are doing right now. So do you want to, like, just have a meeting and talk about how we can work together to just help each other out? So we gain something from Microsoft gains something from us. So, and it was like, we, what else can we ask for? And so we just went ahead with it. And that's when they said that they have similar interests. And something we learned from Microsoft research, specific, I'm mentioning research because they have a good focus on a social good. not just not just product development. So that's why, in my opinion, I have a very different view of Microsoft in Research India, and I was totally like in for it, and that's how I joined Microsoft Research India as a member of Vani. So this is how we started collaborating with Microsoft Research, and now we are planning different projects to expand more, and I'm gonna talk about that too. Um,
Just interrupting you, we have another message. It's from
yes.
Aniket Acharji. Good
Mhm.
evening, ma'am. Myself, Aniket from ET branch. Can you discuss about digital marketing and SEO?
Digital marketing. I am not the right person for digital marketing. But yeah, you know what? I'm
Just open
sure.
it up for discussion, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm sure like people among your team, like among the people attending this talk, will have better views on
Yeah,
so we can get there.
yeah, definitely.
So yeah, yeah. So while I'm talking about the technology and social good kind of scenario, so these are some projects that I have recently come across, and have been very um, they are something I really found very interesting and a nice approach. So basically, there is one project called Project Mahatma, and this project basically, so all these three projects that you see here, it's led by the same person. Here, he is Manu Chopra. You can see him in the picture, and he's a Stanford University graduate, and his goal is to have technology incorporated with social good, and this is a project where they identify the brilliant minds from rural India, and they mentor them, and help them achieve their goals and dreams, and they have done some amazing work. This is one project where they use a lot of all these projects, you always have technology involved, and there is so much contribution that you can make to a social cause also. Another project they have is Project Karuna, where they provide exotic tourist experiences, and so what they do is, whatever funds they generate, a huge sum of it goes to the local people. So the picture that you see, it's like a rural India setting, where you can very easily create I mean, I shouldn't say easily, but it's possible to create a very luxury experience. And anyone who is interested to have like an exotic exquisite experience can um, you know it's a more touristy thing, and whatever funds they get out of it, they distribute it to the village causes. And there's another project called Project Janta, where again Manu tries to show the real rural India to people, and how a lot of amazing work is happening. So when especially a lot of people have start having a very negative attitude towards, oh, in India these are the problems, we always get this problem, we are always having this problem. But there is also a lot of good work happening. So in this Project Janta, he helps people to identify those amazing people and projects that's taking shape within India, and connect them to those. So these are, I really like this project because they have, um, very nicely incorporated social causes to, a big. in a bigger picture. Yeah, so Project Janta, I think I just have this, passage copied from their website, and I've just, have it here so that you can read it. And I've been talking for a long time, so I'm just taking a sip. So here, so these are just a few examples of, amazing work that people have been doing, and I can, like, post these slides maybe later, and you can, go individually to these projects and look at them. Um, okay, so yes, I think I missed a slide somewhere here. Okay. Anyway, so I want to talk a little bit about the kind of work that we are doing now. So this is this part is specific to after my collaboration with Microsoft. So what we are trying to do now is we are getting in touch with we are getting in touch with the Idumishmi community, which is the language community in Arunachal, and they are identified as an endangered language. Right, it's they have a severely declining rate of native speakers, and they're worried that they're going to lose their language. And it's to you and me, it might not sound like a big deal, like someone's language is disappearing, and they're just using English or Hindi or Assamese for their daily communication. But someone whose identity is associated with their language, it's a big deal to have their own language disappearing away from the world, because with the language they're losing a lot of cultural significance. They're losing a lot of traditions and customs, and all these idioms and sayings that they have. They have a very good display of their local culture. So it's it's a big thing to have a language completely disappear from the map. So basically we are trying to help the Idumishmi community to I won't say revitalize the language, but with whatever language related help they need right now. So what we are doing now is we are trying to help them standardize their script. So they don't have a script of their own. They have been using Roman letters or Hindi, like Devanagari letters, to write in Idumishmi. But languages have a lot of features that's very specific to them. Like in English, if I give you if I, let's say, what's the name? Okay, in Assamese, if I say ba ba, that ba versus ba, like the bamboo ba. So one is nasal and one is not. Um, but if I ask you to write it in Roman script, in ABCD, you will not be able to, write that difference. How will you show nasalization in English, right? So because they were using Roman script and, sometimes Devanagari to represent their own language, they were losing sounds much more rapidly than they would have if they had their own standard language, own standard script. So they put in, even before we started working with them, they had done a lot of work to actually come up with a language which is able, with a script which is able to represent their own sound systems and vowels and everything. And but the problem was, they here technology could really play a role in spreading the language, the new script, right? But you know how Arunachal Pradesh, the problems they face. There is a lack of connectivity. There is no internet. There is no phone network. If you have traveled there, you will know. So we, as a part of Vani, and also as, with the help of Microsoft, we are trying to reach out to as many people as we can by, helping them developing offline dictionaries and offline keyboards if they want to type, or, just helping them standardize their script. We are also trying to, they recently, 1 year ago, they published their first Idumishmi book that's actually written in Idumishmi. Till now, they didn't have a single book in their language. So we are trying to help them get more books published, and have a global presence, or a digital presence. So that's something we are doing right now. And second, we are trying to this is the other project that I'm personally very excited about. So we are going to start creating a speech database where we will have Idumishmi language spoken by local people, and they will be telling us their local stories. So we are going to document the stories that otherwise would have disappeared into the wild, and you would never know, like the interesting things that happen in their everyday life, things about hunting, things about their own culture, their food, their travel, anything. So we are trying to create a speech database for that, and with the goal, or with the intention, that eventually few years down the line, we can also use that speech database to make language technology for them. So we have to start somewhere. So this is where we are starting. So we are starting to collect a huge corpus, to that represent them, that represents their language, and that can help build more technology. And so this Idumishmi community is just where we are starting. So our goal is to eventually, spread out to the entire region of Northeast, like identify the specific language communities who can be helped by helping their, language grow, or by helping them reach out to the rest of India. So, yep. And in this page, I think you'll see some of the organizations that we work with. So, if you look at, at the top, you'll see our website, like Vani, Vernacular Archive of Northeast India. Then at the bottom, that the picture you see, where it's written "Giving Dignified Work." So this is an interesting project again, which is called Project Karya. And what they do is they, whenever you work on speech technology or language technology, something like that, you need a lot of data. You need a huge amount of data. And most of the rural Indian languages, tribal languages, low resource languages, dying languages, they don't have a good digital presence. You won't find their language. You can't even find a website where you can scrape you can scrape to get their language. So this Karya, they reach out to the rural people, and they collect data from the people from rural India, and big organizations who work on these big technologies, they always get a lot of funding, right? So instead of giving this funds to another big company who will generate speech for you, instead they give these these contracts to the village people, and they are always, like, more excited, and they're really happy to help their own language and culture. And also, it's an amazing opportunity for rural India to have an introduction to digital work, because they're mostly focused on manual labor. which is really, there is a section of population who don't get that, who are at a disadvantage, like, physically handicapped people, or someone with some kind of, health issues. A lot of times women don't, women are considered not fit for some kind of manual work in rural, especially in rural India. So this digital work platform reaches out to those, to the people who are, is less, who has less opportunity in these fronts. And yep, so these are some, IMCLS is the Idumishmi Culture and Literary Society who we work with, which is in Arunachal. And okay, what happened? Okay. Yeah, so we also work with an organization called Pratham Books. And the goal of this, it's actually a huge organization which is like spread not just in India but outside India. And they have, they are, their goal is to have a book for all the kids in India, because in rural India, and people and kids who speak, who are from a marginalized society, or speak a low resource language, or an endangered language, it's most likely that they have never read a children's book in their own language. So Pratham Books, works towards they that no kid, grow up without reading books. um, so yeah, so these are some of the things that we are doing right now, and we are hoping to, you know um, expand our work. And there are other projects language related that we are thinking about, and I'll probably this is probably too early to say a lot about those, so I don't have them here. And so this is the only thing I have, um, which I have not yet spoken about, which is my experience during my PhD. And this is a blank slide. I'm not gonna, show anything here. Um, and okay. So yeah, and there is a reason why I have that slide as blank, because I really can't, sum it up in, in a short talk. So I want you to ask me what kind of things you want to know about my experience, during my PhD in University of Florida. Anything like non-academic that you know about a PhD abroad. You can type it out. You can type out the, your questions in the messages. And yeah, I'm out from my presentation screen, so I can see all the messages here now. Mm, I'm just gonna stop the share. Okay, um
I think the most question like someone would want to ask like how was it for like for you to go from India to US and just live there for and work there for like 4 or 5 years.
yeah, it was very, obviously it was an interesting experience, but um there are some things that, which I found initially, that was my first, like, culture shock kind of transition. So I'm gonna share my, my first experience where I was like, oops, we don't do this here, kind of. So what happened was, we were at a social event, and what happens there is every semester, like whenever new people join in, every year they have a party hosted at one of the professors' houses. So, and there all the students, and it's called a potluck, and everyone brings their own something to share with everyone. So we had that at a professor's house, and I was sitting in, like, with just getting a few chairs together, and 5 6 of our friends were sitting and chatting. And we had, like, our one of our senior professors from the department. He just came up and he started talking, and he was standing there and talking to us, and we were all seated. So growing up in, like, in India as a student all my life, my first instinct is, like, since there is another empty chair somewhere a little far, you get up and you offer your professor, like, oh, please sit here, I'll get my chair. And oh, and I just stood up, and I was about to just offer him, yeah, please sit. But me getting up and offering my like the seat to him, it was really awkward. Like, people don't do that there. If the professor wants to sit, he will get his own chair and come and sit. So yeah, like, and I was, like, looked at, like, I even call them, I don't even call them, I won't call them my friends at that point of time, because we had just met, and we were just joining the same program together. But they were all from they had all studied there all their life, and they're like, what, like, this is so why would you do that? Yeah, so that was, and then you'll see that there will be a lot of these things where you see that there is a difference in how you see the students professor relationship here, and what it is like back there. Yeah, and yeah, similar things kept happening. Then there was another talk where, have you guys seen the movie Arrival? There was this movie Arrival where they had, like, some linguistic stuff. So the
And like aliens just coming in and they're just showing
yeah,
patterns and stuff
deciphering,
and they
exactly.
decoding it. Yeah.
So the interesting thing was, the linguist that they consulted for that movie, she was friends with one of our professors. So she had come to our university for a talk, and there was a huge crowd, and the people in that seminar hall was more than the number of seatings we had.
Capacity,
And
yeah.
yeah, and I was at the end of the chair, like, I mean, in the end of the row. And then the stairs are in the middle, right? And then both sides, the two sides of the sitting arrangement. So I was in the end, and our professor came, and he just sat on the ground, just beside where, like, we were sitting. And for me, it was so awkward, because I still grew up here, and it was still awkward to be sitting in a chair where, just beside you, your professor is sitting in the bottom. Like, I was like, it
I
was
can
still awkward. I still getting used to that. But then yeah, eventually, second year, you're doing slightly, you know what to expect and how to act and things like that. So um
I think that's like probably one of the things we'd actually do out of instinct, right? So we just
yeah,
find someone senior and just give them their seat or something.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So that's how we grew up. And
yeah, yeah, exactly.
yeah, yeah. And also I've seen that time wise, time is respected like anything there. If you I have said someone that, okay, I'll be there, at this point of time, you have to be there. And if you're not, you have to, like, you have to genuinely feel bad that you couldn't make it there on time. And it doesn't matter, like, if I'm on time and my professor is late to meet me, like, is later than the time we had arranged, you know there is a equal value of me waiting for her or her waiting for me. It's
Yeah.
equally valued, like, but here sometimes I think, if you're a student, it's okay for you to wait.
Wait, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I think a lot of people here are also very excited. Like they have their own projects and they're like really excited
Oh, that's
about
nice.
working on like cool things and stuff. Like recently, I actually concluded my project and stuff and working with
That is.
things like that. So I actually know a lot of people here and like people from the group as well who couldn't make it today. So they were actually very interested to like learn more about these things. So like if I know that you have projects going on, right? So if you
Mhm.
just want contributors and you just want someone just working in with you and just learning how to go about it, that I think would
Yeah.
be very good for students here, right? So they could just
Yeah,
reach out
yeah,
to you and stuff.
anytime. So, what one of the things that I personally like to, focus on is connect people so that everyone can mutually help each other. And Gayatri also knows that I'm a part of the Assam Artificial Intelligence Initiative. So, even there, we'll have people who can, guide you through a project and, collaborate. And everyone is looking for, more things to work on, more things to learn about. And my contacts are more language oriented, like, people working on natural language processing or speech technology, or, any kind of language related problems. So those are my like direct contacts. But I have, like, being part of different groups, there are, people you can always communicate with and get together with. So anyone who, who wants to share their project ideas or has something in mind, anything, or not.
Maybe not today. Like I think they'll reach out to you personally. Like maybe not like this. I suggest you just
Yeah,
drop
it's
your LinkedIn. You just drop your LinkedIn on the chat box. I think a lot of
okay. Yeah,
you're getting
sounds.
a lot of connections today, so you keep that open.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, some of the things I'm actually currently looking at and want to be working on is, I'm interested in documenting old, like, manuscripts and any literature related document from, like, where most of the things will be handwritten, or, will be, torn pages from old libraries, where these things will disappear very soon. They don't have anything digitized, and there are excellent manuscripts and documents of a lot of things that will disappear from the libraries. You don't Given the climate here, like, it's always damp, it's always you
Raining.
always have floods, like one rain and you don't know which building is gonna, like, get swiped off. And so, you know I think things disappear much faster here, when, because, we already have a problem of having this dampness and everything. So, yeah, that's one thing I'm currently looking at, and I'm trying to approach, like, Assam Sahitya Sabha for some help there and to give us some leads. So anyone, who wants to reach out to me and who has similar interests, you can let me know. And there are, like, other northeastern language related things that I've been thinking about. So if anyone has any idea or anything at all, you can, yeah, reach out to me whenever you want to. Or you can, you can even reach out to me on WhatsApp. You can just get my contact from Gayatri if you want.
Sure, you'll be spammed with messages.
No, I'll be happy.
Get
That's
ready for
like
that.
it's
Yeah.
an ideal situation for me.
Yep. I think we'll just take a photo, like an ending picture, and then we'll end it for today. Like it's about time,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
we just.
yeah.
I think we have had enough of your 1 hour. Just 1 hour from you.
Oh,
We took.
no problem at all. I actually